is Pam Perry. Well, welcome on the Friday here. We are going over, hey, how about that? Back and forth. We are going to talk about Speakers Magazine. And I hear a little bit of background here. I'm gonna mute the mic here. I hear a little bit of background, but we're going to talk about how to leverage your PR in Speakers Magazine. So Dr. Will, today is his birthday, so he has his Genius Academy with us today. One of the people is Chef Katura. She's with us today. And we also have David Walker, and we have Helena Black, and we have Michelle Sturgis, and Dr. Tommy Nash, and there may be some more coming on. So when they're ready, I'll have them come on and to really explain so far what their response has been. I see David just sat down in his chair. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about is that once you are in any kind of publication, you know it, your family knows it, maybe your social media knows it, but there's so much more you could do to leverage what you have. And I just want to go over some things because a lot of people may not realize it. So Speakers Magazine, and it has been about 4 years old. And obviously Dr. Will can leverage it because he's on the cover. And you can see behind me, you see Vashti McKenzie. She's on the cover. So obviously you can take the cover and you can put it on the wall and, you know, show it. And like Dr. Will, he says he has it and he shares it when he goes on speaking things, and it's in the back. So that's fine. But if you're on the inside, like Dr. Tommy is maybe on the inside, what can you do with that? And so I want to just give you some steps on how to really leverage it. And I tell when you're in any kind of PR, you're really leveraging it as a marketing tool, and it really gives you third-party validation. So I've been seen in Speakers Magazine. So because you all have been seen in Speakers Magazine, you have the right to use our trademarked Speakers logo. So when you have a press kit, and hopefully all of you all have a press kit, when you have a press kit, they'll always ask what type of media that you have. And so you put the logos of it, and you've seen it over and over again. We're as seen in, and you'll have this magazine, you have that magazine. So making sure that you have that as well as on the website. I'm not going to say it's without saying that once you're actually in the magazine, that you do share it on social media. Facebook, making sure that's cleaned up on your business page as well as your personal. Twitter, making sure that that is there as well with the link. Definitely make sure that it's on LinkedIn, and not just put it up there, but just say, yes, I was featured in this month's of Speakers Magazine, tagging the magazine. So for all of you all who are in there, I try to tag you all in Speakers Magazine. There's my dog. All right, hold on one second. Okay, Peppy, here we go. It's one of those things where Peppy wants to say hello, and I heard the tag when it's one of those things. Every live, I'm not kidding. He wants to know, who are these people? So this is Peppy. He wanted to let you know that he was here. Say hi. All right. Okay. All right. So anyway, so please let me finish my live. So I didn't drop him. He just fell. So one of the main things that you want to do is you want to make sure that obviously it's on all the lives. It's on all the all your social sites. So on LinkedIn, you just don't want to just put it up there. You're putting some content there, but letting people know obviously that it's in Speakers Magazine. You can tag us. So make sure that you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, especially on Instagram, so I can tag you and we can tag each other's back, and I can show you on our Twitter feeds and our Instagram feeds, Facebook, LinkedIn things. So we do have pages, but you tag the page in LinkedIn. And that's really important because people want to just check out the magazine. But one of the main things for any kind of PR is to get traffic back to your website. This is not about websites. Hopefully you have a website that converts. When I say website that converts, when people go to your website, they'll see who you are, what you do, right? They see who you are, what you do. They can click the link to find out more information about you by hopefully a speaker reel, hopefully a press kit, and hopefully they can find some information, a really good bio, and then how to contact and how to book you. So whenever you post this, make sure that you post your website as well as so that people can see this. Because if you just post it, really send them back to anywhere, then they won't even know, like, where do they go? Obviously they can read it, but you want to make it a blue hyperlink. you want to make it a blue hyperlink. The media, they're not going to just like, oh, let me read it, let me type it in. They want to be able to click links. Okay, so that's one of the main things. The other thing, when you're in Speakers Magazine, you want to make sure that you do a press release. Okay, so here we go, Pam. We're talking about press releases again. And I just finished doing a press release just now for Allison. And so her press release should be live in a few. But the press release is not just so that obviously you want it to get pressed, but it's for search engine optimization. So everybody knows what I mean when I say search engine optimization, right? It's like so that when you Google your name, you have something there. So basically, when you are doing the news likes anything that's new. So that's new. So it doesn't have to be long. Definitely, it always has to be under 1,000 words, that's for sure. But enough information that, say, Chef Couture, who will be in February's issue, right? She didn't make it into January, but so we'll use Chef Couture as an example. Even though we did a large press release, and that's on blacknews.com, everyone should see that. That's the other thing, making sure that you go to blacknews.com and you'll see your name in that press release. Share that on Facebook, share that on Twitter, share that on LinkedIn, because you're in that press release about the issue with Dr. Will. Okay, that's always a bonus. But you can personally do your own press release, and it will have as featured in Speakers Magazine. It'll have Chef Couture. It'll have this month, February magazine was the issue with Judge Leanya Lloyd on the cover. And it'll talk a little bit about that. Chef Couture was featured on page such and such, and then it'll have your bio, want to book her, thing. Okay, very simple, who, what, when, where, and why, and how. But the main thing is that you have links to the page, because on your page will actually be your video. I think David has a video as well. Everybody basically has like a video on their page. So it'll take you to the page where your video will be, and it'll go to your website as well. So that's the purpose of having your own press release. Now you can actually put them in a lot of different places once you have the press release. I use PR Newswire, I use blacknews.com, I use EIN, I use PR.com. There is e-releases. There are so many PR distribution places where you can really use the press release. But the main thing is that you're showing the artwork of the page. So you all have JPEGs of your page. So once you have a JPEG of your page, like this, you see Michelle's or you see Daniel's, that's what you send with the press release, and that goes with the press release. So now it's circulating in Google World, I guess you would say, so that you are found. And then it's picked up, typically, maybe your hometown based on the keywords. So when you're doing SEO press releases, and I kind of teach this a little bit in my Ready, Set, Go Speak community, is that when you're doing press releases, you use keywords and you're always using a lot of links. And it backlinks obviously to your website, but also backlinks to your page, and on the page, embedded online as well as on the website. So it's in two places. It's online in the actual issue, and it's also on speakersmagazine.net. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. And that gives you, the more backlinks you have, the more you're going to be found. So that's why a lot of times when you see people being found in Google, if you Google your name, which hopefully you're doing a lot, when you Google your name, you'll see various, hopefully you'll see, at least on the first page, definitely for sure on the second page, different things that that will have your name. So if I Google Dr. Will Moreland, the first page should be everything about him. Second page, third page. Maybe you'll be really good if it's like 10 pages deep, right? 10 pages deep on Google about you. And press releases are those authority sites. You can, another authority sites are things that have a lot of people connected to it, and a lot of people are going to it, and there's a lot of traffic. So with press release sites, obviously that's going out to the media, so it's a lot of traffic there. Twitter is an authority site, so that's why it's as important for David, Helena, even though you've tweeted it once, make it part of your continual content strategy to tweet it every week, because there's people that are always going through. You know how fast Twitter goes. So make sure that every week you're tweeting that link and just say, hey, I was featured. hey, I was featured. And so when you do that, it makes it so that it's always relevant, it's always new. And that's just one thing. Media likes things that are new. So if you are in the magazine and you have a book as well, and you have another piece of news, anything that's new, it doesn't have to be just about you being in the magazine, but you can add something to it as well. If you have new courses launching, if you have a new position, you have a grand opening of some kind of other thing. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. In terms of media, your local media, you want to make sure you're doing that. Right? Every person lives in a town that has their own local press. So you want to make sure if it's your local press, if you're African American, if it's your local Black press, you want to make sure that they know. So creating your own press release and sending it to. I have a client who lives in Boston area, but he actually lives in the Hyde Park area. So he's going to be on the front cover of the Hyde Park Press next month. And it's a small paper, but he's a big fish, right? It's a small pond, but it's a big fish. So he's going to be on the cover. So don't neglect your local papers, your African-American papers, because now your news, you have something to show, you have some leverage. Your media begets media. I just did a podcast about that last week. And make sure that you go listen to my podcast too. Get out there and get known. I drop stuff like this all the time. Last week I interviewed the publisher of Black Magazine. It's about 25-year-old magazine. It's kind of like the local Ebony, I guess you would say, in the Detroit area. So you want to make sure you go to PamPerryPR.com and listen to that podcast. It's downloads every single week. I think I'm on episode roughly about 20. So I go through and I interview different media people to ask them, what are you looking for? How do people get in your press? How do people get on your television show? How do they get in your radio show? It's the same thing I tell them, but you want to hear it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So that's one of the main things. The other thing, you want to always make sure that when you are in any type of publication and you all got physical copies, hopefully Hassan has got his copies. I don't know if he did or not, but he had some trouble where they were trying to investigate what was in the package. But once you have them, you can mail them to people. So in your local area, if it's your Chamber of Commerce, send it out with the note. Obviously, you want to put some kind of sticky note in here that says, oh, I'm on page 12, right? Whatever. And send it to them and say, hey, if you're looking for speakers this year, I'm featured on David's on page 10, right? He's on page 10. So it gives them something that they can go to the board with, or whoever they want to show, or they have it to keep, and then they can say, hey, this guy here, he was in this magazine, he's on page 10, take a look at it, it's a sticky note here, we should probably have him, because obviously on your bios, which you put together, will have who you are, what you speak on, how to contact you. They'll be able to check you out on your website. They'll be able to check out your videos from being in the magazine. So once you have them, mail them. If you need more, you can always ask me if you run out. That's not a problem. If you run out, I have a few of these that I can mail out to you. But you have to use them. It's good to have them, give them to family and friends, but your family and friends don't really book you, right? So you want to give them to people that that can book you. Who else has questions that I want to add to the stream? I see David here, so I'm going to add David. He looks like he's ready. There you are. And make sure I'm going to unmute you, David, and see how you were on page 10. So I just mentioned you. I'm going to unmute you, or you could unmute. Okay, there you are.
I should be unmuted now. How are you?
Good. So you were on page 10. What has been your response from being in the magazine so far?
Well, I've been very excited, if you want to know that.
Okay, all right. Well, that's good. Good. So how have you leveraged it? That was really the whole point of it.
Sure. Well, I'm just new into speaking, but what I've done is obviously I put it on a couple of my social media sites, and I've had, several people comment on it to congratulate me, says it's a great opportunity, great start. So because I've just got into public speaking, I haven't yet leveraged it to use it. So I'm learning here today so that I can take advantage of this opportunity.
Have you seen your page? So you're in the magazine. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen. Now, I don't have the physical copy because I didn't receive any of the physical copies.
That is so weird, because we mail them like January 5th.
Yeah, I know, because I gave you the address, but
Yeah. Mail is
I
slow.
don't have a physical copy, but like I said, I sent the link.
Okay.
I do have a question, if it's all right to ask at this point.
Yeah.
I noticed that my name is a very common name, David M. Walker, and I just did a Google search, and I didn't find me until like the second page. It's several David M. Walkers on the first page. How do I avoid, and even Dr. David M. Walker, I thought with all of that, it only has to be me by myself, but there were several Dr. David M. Walkers.
Right. So this is the trick, and my name is pretty common too.
Okay.
So Pam Perry, when I started doing this type of work, especially online about 10 years ago, there were a lot of Pam Perrys. So what you have to do is stuff Google with as much David M. Walker as possible, so that you're always rising to the top.
Okay.
So you're doing videos. So you have to have a lot of videos, and then always use the keyword David Walker. You will have a lot of activity on your social. You will do press releases that have David Walker. And I always say the more you feed the beast, the more you're going to rise to the top. So the other people, especially when you'll find that, like if my name were Katy Perry, right, and not Pam Perry, I can't beat Katy Perry because Katy Perry's got a big, celebrity following. But she has a big celebrity following on Google because there's so many people that are always searching for her name, and she's always feeding the beast.
Gotcha.
So you have to always create. That's why I tell all of the people in Ready, Set, Go Speak, once a month do a press release. Even if it's just like you've been featured in this, if you've been featured in a podcast, I mean, just do some kind of press release to release some news that gives it from an authority site that gives you some authority in Google, because you've got to just do that. And YouTube is the best way, really. And you're a speaker, so that should be natural. So doing that, and YouTube is, Google owns YouTube, so they like YouTube.
Okay.
You do a lot of Facebook lives and that sort of thing. And I tell people, I said, that's good. You could do Facebook lives. I said, but look at the things that Google likes. I mean, Clubhouse is great, but Google is not following Clubhouse. Twitter shows up. So if I Google my name, Twitter usually shows up. My website should show up first. So make sure your website is optimized very well with keywords. So if they said, I saw a guy named David Walker, he was a speaker. So make sure that keynote speaker is in your website when people are looking for David Walker. He was a speaker. Or your city, different things where people will kind of know you from. It's a natural way where people Google. Think of that. So those are the keywords of whatever people are searching for. So you want to make sure of that. Making sure that they do that. The other thing too, and this is just a little extra. Sometimes I'm a little extra, but you can create your own social media meme or social media badge. So I had Kristen Rashawn. She's so cute, but she's creative like that. She has this journal called the Creative Journal, but she took the cover of the magazine, her page, and a large picture of herself, and she really said, as seen in Speakers Magazine, and she put it on Instagram. So it was her own social square. Now we share out the pages to social media, but we share out the actual page. But she went further. She took the cover, she took her page, and she took her large picture, and it was all on a social media meme. And it was really, really striking. So she put that on Instagram, she put that on LinkedIn, and this and that. So you could share your page, but then just come back and share it a different way. And that's always just a different way to do it. I should probably find Christine Rashawn was her name. She used to go by the name Divas and Dorks was her name. The other thing too is, if you would like, and any of you all can do this now that you all are part of the Speakers Magazine family, let me know if you want to do an IG interview. So we could do an IG interview and basically talk about your speaking career or the areas that you speak on, and we could do that. Black History Month is coming up. If you want to do that, that's always an option for you as well. The other thing too is if you're doing any kind of podcast. So a lot of times everybody's pitching podcasts. There's like a million podcasts. So what makes you stand out a little bit is that I was recently featured in Speakers Magazine, and that just lets them know that you're not just some brand newbie and just, you ain't got nothing going on. And, just like, why should I care? It's like, well, hi, Mr. Podcaster. I listened to your podcast. It's a great, great show. I heard that you talked about A, B, and C. I talk about that too. As a matter of fact, I was featured in Speakers Magazine. And that just gives you a way to rise above the noise. And
Okay.
so a lot of times as a publicist, I have to figure out creative ways to get not my quote unquote like TD Jakes or those kind of things, the people that I work with. I don't have to do that for them because they already have a brand. But if you don't have a brand, you have to give a little bit more, be a little bit more creative and make the media understand that this is important because they have so many, they have about 200 or 300 pictures a day. So you have to do something. Dr. Will, is he here? I want to at least say happy birthday to him. I see him there, but he may be into his birthday hurrah. So so I guess that's what that's about. I will say that each of you at any point in time, if you do have a new speaker's reel, because speaker reels are something that is always one of the things that people, they're going to test you. It's like, okay, I know you can speak. Let me see. It's like, okay, so let me see your speaker reel or let me hear your podcast. And with you, David, I think I didn't have a reel. I had like your podcast that was on YouTube, as that's what we use, but just something that's generally you speaking on. If you go to Speakers Magazine, where this will be living, this video,
Right.
you'll see speaker reels, and I have sample speaker reels under there, so you can kind of see. They're no more than 2 minutes.
Right.
And if you're just starting speaking and you don't have footage of you speaking, at the very least use some stills.
Okay.
Or you can be on camera explaining the topics that you're passionate about that you can share with an audience.
Okay.
But they need to hear you speak. So if you have a new speaking reel, David, Michelle, Helena, if you have a new speaking reel that you'd like to add to the page, because you're indefinitely going to be on the website indefinitely.
Okay.
So if you've Googled yourself lately, we should have showed up on page 1 for you.
Good.
If you haven't, if anybody's Googled yourself, just know that you probably did show up on page 1. So when you see your name, they'll click that and your speaker reel will be there.
Okay.
And if you have a new speaker reel or you don't have a speaker reel, then we'll add it to there. And it's also embedded in the magazine itself. So on the front of the magazine, if you go to issue or go to online magazine on the website, you'll actually click it and you'll see the interview that Brian Oles, Sierra, and myself and Dr. Will did. And
Right.
then on the back, you'll see some other video too. You'll see our rush challenge on the back with Brian, and you'll see some videos of him on the inside. So there's always different videos. The other thing that you can share is the video that announced the magazine at the beginning of the month. So at the beginning of the month, we had the video of all you all pages, and it went with some cool music, some drum music, I think it was. It was like some drum music. So you can share that out. That's something you can share out as well. The other thing you can share is the banner up at the top. It has all your names in there. So you can share that out. It's a big picture of Dr. Will. And then it's also announced in January issue. So you can share that out and say, hey, make sure you check it out. I'm in this month's issue. Put your website and then also put the website to the magazine so they could see your link to your magazine. And that's it. I just really want to make sure that you do a press release, that you do contact your local press, that you do pitch yourself to podcasts. That's important. That you all too, with you all as a group together, because you're one group together, that you retweet each other's pages. That's part of your content strategy. It's like, hey, check out Chef, because you're all in this together. So the more you push each other out, the more SEO juice that issue will get, and then the more you will get as well. So you can go to online magazine, share the magazine, and just mention and tag each other. Make sure you are all following each other, right? You all follow, so you tag each other, because sometimes it's hard to find. I will say this: as much as you can, make your name your handle as much as you can. It's cute and clever sometimes to do these other names like Chef Couture. If you're always at, that's fine, because people know that's what you are. But for sometimes I'm trying to find like Tommy and I can't find it because it's another name and this and that, and it's just hard to find. So I'm trying to tag everyone on things and I can't find it because it's not their name. I'll give you one example. There was Melanie Hill. Melanie Hill is a speaker. She was in issue last year. So I wanted to tag her and I could not find her to tag her, but she was by her website, which is Stronger Than My Struggle. So I had to realize that I had to Google like Melanie Hill Twitter. And then I said, oh, okay. So she's Stronger Than My Struggle. And that was her name, of her handle, and I couldn't find her. So as much as you can, people are going to remember your name. So it's about personal branding, branding your name. Mine is Pam Perry PR. If it's taken, then I have to go with Pam Perry Speaks or Pam Perry Speak, you know, some kind of keyword that's an identifier. And that's really the main thing, because you do that. Crystal, I think hers was okay. I think she had a hyphen in her name, you know, because her name, Crystal Walker, kind of a plain, you know, simple name as well. So you want to, you know, Michelle, her name is not as, you know, so sturgis. It was, you know, one of those things where you could find her pretty easy. But the main thing is that once you have the magazines, to mail them out, share them, share the pages, share the issue that's on Issue Magazine, share the videos. There are just so many opportunities. And I want to say too, if you're speakers, always have an opportunity. Thank you so much, David. Thank you so much, Chef, for just showing up whenever there's an opportunity for people to know you, know your brand, and me introduce you to other people. You know, it's okay to have your camera off and that sort of thing, but if there's an opportunity, if you're a speaker and you are in Speakers Magazine, show up with the lights on. I'm ready. Have some kind of prepared question, you know, or something. I'm going to say, even if I just sit here and just like, you know, this is my name. And then, you know, people will be curious and maybe, you know, Google your name and just say, well, what does she do? So I just always want to say that, to make sure that you are always ready. And so that's the whole point of Ready, Set, Go, Speak, because I want people to get in that phase of being ready, set, go to speak. You know, there's an old saying that says you don't have to get ready if you stay ready, or if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready, right? So either one of those. So you just stay ready, because it could be a period of time where someone says, you know what, our speaker didn't come through. They just called, they're sick. Who am I going to call? I remember this guy, I saw him. He was in this magazine. I saw him somewhere, or I saw him on some lot. And they're going to think of you, you know, so, or they'll Google you and say, okay, yeah, they will be good. So you want to make sure that you stay ready. All right. And that's really it. I didn't want to keep you all too long. We've been 27 minutes, and I said no longer than 30 minutes. So if there are any questions that you all have for me.
Someone said they had a question. Maki.
Oh, he did? Okay. Yeah, oh, there you are. Hey, okay. Did you get your magazines? I know you had a hard time, and I was like, what are they doing with your magazines?
I'm still having a hard time, actually. It's still
more. That's not a big deal. I mean, whatever they thought was in that package, I could give me a different address, maybe. I don't know, mail it to a neighbor. I don't know.
No, that's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's an address that I use always, and it's the first time that something like that happened. But you never know what happened. I don't know why they opened the shipment. Yeah. Or maybe it was not sealed properly. I don't know what's the issue, because they lost 9 copies and they received only 1, and then they told me, if you want us to deliver it this way, we can do it. I said that's fine. Just let me check it out, and then let me see what's gonna happen this week.
Oh, I'll just mail you 10. I'll just mail you 10 more. It's not a big deal. Well, it seemed like maybe they saw it with Speakers Magazine and they ripped it open. They wanted to get their copies. I don't know.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Like maybe somebody is trying to get a speaker somewhere to speak to their event.
Yeah, they were like, let's get these copies. They are pretty rare. I mean, you know, they are pretty rare. So that's it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I salute you guys. Thank you for this support. My question to you is, as you know, I'm located in Kuwait. I'm Lebanese, actually, and I live in Kuwait, which is located in the Middle East. So I wanted to know if you have clients in that area. That's number one. Nope. Number two, you've been talking about the YouTube link that is related to Speakers Magazine that have our pictures on, and the banner. Where can we get these resources? I know the YouTube, all right, but what about the banner?
Right.
And so what about the logo?
Right. So you can actually get the logo from me, and I can send you that. But everything is on speakersmagazine.net. And then on the Facebook page is actually the banner. So when you see the Facebook Speakers Magazine Facebook page, you'll see the banner there, and you can use that as well. But yeah, for the logo, I can send you the logo so you can actually add it to your press kit, add it to your website, add it. Sometimes some people add it at the bottom of their email signature. That's cool too. You know, for the month of January, you could do an email signature where you're actually linking to your page, you know, at the bottom, as seen in Speakers Magazine, to make it a hyperlink. And then people can click to that page. And that's, I don't know how many emails you all send a day. You know, but they need to know you're there.
I'm not that professional at email. I'm still learning in this part. Like, I'm not a newbie in the speaking business, but I'm still poor in resources.
So one of the things that would help, and I did this pre-COVID, and it was Digital Business Acceleration. I did a podcast. I did 52 episodes, and me and Vernita, my business partner, we did this because we knew that people needed to accelerate their digital business. Everything is a digital business because we live in this type of world, right? We're on StreamYard, we're streaming on Facebook, we're on Periscope, we're on YouTube, we're streaming on YouTube as well. So we did 52 episodes. And basically, if you could, I'd say, go to the dbapodcast.com, go there and start there. Okay, start with episode 1. By the time you're finished with all of those podcasts, and it comes with an ebook as well as a blueprint of what your digital business should look like, you'll be okay. You'll be okay. I mean, every single week, and each one is roughly about a half an hour. Sometimes we go a little bit about an hour, but we explain the process of what a digital business should be. Your website is more than just a brochure. It should be your 24-hour a day, 7 days a week marketing machine. So we talk about email marketing and branded email marketing and what is a good hosting, what's not a good hosting, what you should look for if you're going to design a new website, just all sorts of things, even resources. If you can't do it yourself, we talk about different resources where you can go and get different things. So because everybody is relatively in different spaces in the digital online marketing space, we did it from beginning so that someone who doesn't know about it all the way by the 52 episode, they're pretty proficient in it and they can speak the lingo, and they know the language of how to explain. Even if you don't know how to do it, you need to be able to explain to someone else what you want. And so I always tell everyone, on your website, please have an opt-in box. So you can go to PamPerryPR.com and you'll see the first thing is like, yes, who I help, who I serve, my credibility, but it also has a place where you can download on the website 7 things that the media looks for when you want to pitch them. So they're looking for professional photos, bio, EPK, all 7 things, and I explain in the video. That's an opt-in box. So the opt-in box, once they have that, it goes through a whole process of a email series that welcomes people, and then we call that nurturing your leads. You know, really explain to them a little bit more. So that's not something that I naturally grew up knowing this. It took time to learn all this, and so we want to explain to people how a digital business works, because a lot of people will see it from the front end and it's like, well, what's going on in the back end? How did they do that? So we explain how you do that. All right.
My last question is, if we have like anything that is related to promoting these things, we can go back to you, right?
Yes.
Sending you. Okay.
Yes.
And where do I find these 52 videos again?
The 52 is the dbapodcast.com. The
DBA. All right.
The dbapodcast.com. It's really like the Digital Business Acceleration, but that's so long. So what we did is we bought a domain name and then we forwarded it to the Digital Business Acceleration. And I always tell this to people. So
is that the DBA or just DBA?
The DBA. The
DBA.
Or the DBA. And also to the Ready, Set, Go Speak community, it's really a PR community explaining these type of things every single day. We're going over different things. This month we have different homeworks for people, and it's just resources. So you can go and check that out too if you want as well. It's the beginning part of building your brand, which I'm sure Dr. Will is teaching you. It doesn't really tell you how much to speak like as an orator, but it does explain you in terms of how to position and promote yourself as a speaker. And that's really, really key because you can't get booked. So you got to, that's one of the main things. It's been my thing that I've been doing. And so I don't have any clients overseas. Most of my clients are in the US. Well, they all are in the US. I did have one client, I believe, in our time zones were always just crazy. You know, just in terms of overseas, over on the motherland, and that didn't work. But because every time we would try to have, I don't know what time is it for you now?
It's what is this? Yeah, 2:45
In the
a.m.
See, that's what I'm saying. so it was like, it's hard. I mean, if I have to get up at 2:45, I appreciate you, I see, for getting, but it's like, okay,
Well, we are building a business, so I have to be 24/7 awake.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I understand. Well, I'm in Detroit, Michigan, so we're on Eastern Standard Time. It's sometimes hard for people that I deal with, the clients that's on the West Coast, and that's just 3 hours. So I appreciate you. So you have the chutzpah or the stick to it, and it's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes, and that's really what it is.
Yeah.
You know, just whatever it takes. You know.
Well, it's my pleasure to be your client in the Middle East, and I'm looking forward for a fruitful collaboration. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
And thank you for being my first client in the Middle East.
My pleasure.
All right. Well, if you all don't have any other questions, Helana, I really like what you did, girl, with your hyperlink. I don't know if you want to come on and talk about how she did her hyperlink. She did a hyperlink. I don't know if you got any opt-ins or not, but she shared it. Everybody else has a hyperlink where it goes to Speaker Reel, where Helana actually, hers went to a opt-in gift that was directly for Speakers Magazine. You want to talk about that? I can bring you into the screen here. There. Let me unmute you here. So she did something that was clever and cute. I'd never seen that before. All right, there you go.
Can you hear me?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so I created an opt-in to a short ebook that I created. And that was, I directed it specifically for readers of Speakers Magazine. So that way I'll be able to track who were the people who came specifically from Speakers Magazine as opposed to my general website.
And then the link was?
digitalwellpublisher.com/speakers.
There you go. That was it. That's it. And so with any link, whether it's our website, our YouTube, our any link that we have, our podcast, you have to promote it. And so one of the ways, you know, like you could do a press release, but one of the simple ways is to put something at the bottom of your email signature. You know, and that's really simple for people to be curious to look at and see. Now, obviously for you, you know, Helena, you don't put it at the bottom of your email because you want to test it on speakers, but it's still a opt-in, and people will want to download it, and then she captures their email and she continues to market to them. So that's really, really cool. I appreciate you doing that. That was good.
Yeah, so every time I use it, you know, throughout the year, not every time I promote this opportunity, I'll be able to track people from the magazine.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. So, and also too, I wanted to say, if you all have podcasts, I know, David, you have a podcast, because your cohort of people here, obviously you want to maybe interview your cohort. You know, you can actually, you know, read the magazine and say, oh yeah, you know, I can talk to her about. So it's like you kind of get a, you know, the cliff notes, of dating myself here, of what Dr. Tommy is about, what he, you know, and then those are podcasts, you know, because a lot of these go out to people who are not necessarily, you know, people who are not necessarily speakers, but they're people who are media people who are podcasters, you know, people who are nosy. So they're reading it, and then they're figuring out how they can, you know, use you guys and, you know, promote you guys or whatever. So just know that that's going to be going on continually. So one of the things, my background is in print. I love print. Started my career at the Detroit Free Press. So print has always been like the lead main media that I always love. Obviously the online world has just exploded, and TV and online video and all that kind of stuff. But print, you can always leave with, because you can leave this with someone and put it in their hand. You can read it. It's just a little bit more, take it and digest it as you want, when you want. You can read in the bathroom, whatever. So I've always liked print. And, with different type of other things, it's just a little bit more cumbersome. You probably can't, you've got to have Wi-Fi, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so anyway, so Speakers Magazine, that's it. That is my thing. So if you all have any things that you need, I'm here. Dr. Will, we want to wish you happy birthday. Oh, there you go. So happy birthday, Mr. Birthday Guy.
Thank you so much.
So talk about somebody leveraging, right? Leveraging the cover. Notice his background there, right? So he has got it in the background, in a frame. I love it. I love it. There you go. Looking like, what's that movie we said, Independence Day? Yeah, looking like Will Smith coming out of Independence Day, like the spotlights there. So yeah, so happy birthday to you. You look really good for, someone that's heading up towards that mark there.
The big 50, right?
Yeah. Oh, I've been past that a long time ago. So you look really good. You look really good. And it looks like you're having a good day.
I am. I know we're talking about promoting. I actually just did a TV interview with ABC and leveraged right off the magazine. So we just talked about that.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. See, Dr. Will has always been an activator. Okay. It's like, we're going to leverage this. We're going to do this. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Exactly. Oh, I wish I would have known. Well, I probably wouldn't have seen it because it's in your area.
Yeah, so I'll send the link to you. So it was a pretty good interview. Had the magazine in the background, so we're getting some publicity with that. So it definitely is a leveraging tool.
It is. And that's one of the things you want to make sure that you leverage it. Don't let it be the world's best kept secret that you're in there, and you want to make sure that you're doing it. So excellent. Well, that was a good birthday surprise to just be on ABC TV on your birthday.
It was pretty cool. Pretty cool.
And just real quick, David, Chef, I like Chef's Couture's background. Her background is good. So when you were on television, he was in his spot, right? You didn't have your, you didn't go into the studio. It's still COVID. So his background looks perfect, right? It has his whole little thing. So if we were going to do yours, Dave, if we're going to get you on ABC TV, you're going to have to find a spot that's less distracting, or something that really gives you more symbolism of who you are and what you do. And same thing with you, Helena, just something that gives you a little bit more, on the background, even if it's plain. People know I'm a Publisher Speakers Magazine. It's a little bit further in the back, but making sure that you have something like a ring light. I think I also showed you this before. That you could get these on Amazon. I think I showed you these before, where you put this on the computer or your phone or whatever. Exactly. I know you had to have one. Yes, those are so important. Lighting is everything. Lighting is everything. And so these are on Amazon. You can get these. So make sure that you get stuff like this, because if people want to, and they're doing a little more video podcasts too. So people want to have you on, and someone seeing it said, oh yeah, I'm gonna have her on because she looked really good on camera. She had the right lighting. So you want to make sure your lighting is good, David. It's just that we want to make sure that it's not as distracting. And sometimes they have those, I can't think what you call them, but the covers in the back.
Green screen.
Green screens are good. Sometimes if you move too much, so if you talk a lot, we talk with our hands, that kind of moves. But I'm thinking like a room divider. Sometimes those room dividers sometimes look good in the back.
Yeah, and actually, I would have had my green screen up. For some reason, it didn't work. It didn't come through with your program, so then I had to just leave it as it was. And
yeah, StreamYard does not have a real easy way to do green screen.
Yeah.
Zoom does,
right?
Doesn't. But I like the way StreamYard streams. So right now we're streaming live. So I won't keep you all too guys, but I just want to say happy birthday to you and congratulations. That is so good. I love it. I love it. And like, if you all ever want to do anything PR related, I'm your girl, right? So you can go to Ready, Set, Go, Speak, be part of that, or just let me know if you have a quick question, if you want to the logos to put in your press kits, please, or your website, let me know. I'll send you those as well so that you can get that as part of that, as seen on. Media begets media. So this is a beginning. Make sure that you get your local press, local radio, local television, like Dr. Will, so it's something that once you see yourself in print, that you can see yourself bigger, when it's possible. And then you can actually see yourself like on a different platforms and that sort of thing. So I want to see you all really grow into that. Okay. That's why I created the magazine. I really did. I did it because I want to have people have a bigger vision of themselves as they're really getting going and starting out. And then there's a lot of people that aren't familiar with Black speakers. They just don't. They don't know. They know like 3. They may know Les Brown, George Frazier, and Willie Jolly. I'm talking about the majority. So there's so many other speakers. So this is one of the main things of why I created the tool. Yep. And so I say Black, but it's also to minorities. So to give Hossein his due as well, because there's minority speakers. So people of color, I guess you would say. So he's part of the crew too.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. All righty. Well, thank you guys. And I will talk with you all later. And if there's anything you all need, you know where to find me, and go to
Thank you, ma'am.
All righty. Take care.
Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Hey, if you're looking for visibility and credibility, you need to get ready, set, and seek out the magic of Pam Perry. Pam is credentialed and has 20 years plus PR, media, and publishing experience. She has the receipts to prove it. Pam has helped hundreds of speakers and authors get booked on TV shows, placed in newspapers, magazines, and podcasts. She ain't no joke. She's a beast. Now, she's created the Ready, Set, Go, Speak. That's an all-in-one membership community. She's passionate and excited about helping more authors and speakers get out there. In fact, her signature course, the Branding Accelerator Program, is included, and that's almost a $2,000 course. You get that as a bonus. As a member of the Ready, Set, Go, Speak community, you also get access to Pam bi-weekly to ask her questions live via Zoom. When you join, you have that PR advantage. It's like having Pam as your personal publicist on speed dial. She's sharing her media contacts and her golden resources so that you don't have to figure out where to go get what. The Ready, Set, Go, Speak membership community is where you'll get unstuck, unleashed, and propelled with the guidance and sage advice from Pam Perry and her experts. So, if you're serious, let's go. Take the next step now and go to Ready, Set, Go, Speak to join us today. The sooner you get connected with Ready, Set, Go, Speak, the sooner you'll be booked on superstar stages and in media places. Ready, Set, Go, Speak.